What is a campaign strategy? It's a blueprint for how you market a political candidate to voters. Nothing more, nothing less. If you'd like to know how that's done, give me 10 minutes of your time and I'm going to make you a really well-informed person on how to do it. And we're going to start in this video by talking about the three basic components of a campaign strategy. What is it that you're going to say? Who are you going to say it to? How are you going to say it? We're going to cover all three of these, so let's get started with what it is you're going to say. In political parlance, that's known as, what is your campaign message? Why should voters vote for you? Now, here's this funny thing about voters. They really don't care about you. They care about what they're going to get from you. Hate to tell you that, and I hate to damage your ego, but that's why people vote for you. It's not because they love you. It's you are a means for them to get something they want. That's the way democracy works. So what is it that you're going to give to voters that will cut their tax burden or improve their quality of life or get them better services than they're used to getting? What are you going to do that will give them cleaner parks, safer neighborhoods? What will you do that will increase their ability to put their kids through college, enjoy a decent standard of living, retire with some degree of dignity, or fix a problem in their community that's really bugging them to death? That is the offer, or some component of that offer that you put on the table. And if you're not willing to tell them what you're going to do with the power you're asking them to give you, they're going to assume that you just want it for the glory or the paycheck you're going to collect when you get there. That's not a good reason to run for office. So don't leave that blank. So sit down at the outset before you've designed your strategy and figure out what it is that you're going to be for that voters want. Now, there are many sources of ideas on how to do that. One starts with what's up here. If you're thinking of running for office, surely you've got some idea of what you would want to do with the power if you got it, and changes that you would make. If you're not sure what you ought to stand for, why, get in a car and drive around your community and look at the problems that you see, whether it's rural or suburban or urban. Look at the problems that you see that are evident and talk to people about what they're experiencing. If you still need some other ideas, why, form a little brain trust. Gather around the 5 or 6 smartest people you know and ask them what they see in the community that needs to be fixed. There's even a fourth way to do this, and that is go around your community and talk to the leaders of civic and community organizations. They serve people in your community. They can give you a really good idea of the problems that people are facing. Now, this is part and parcel of your campaign message. It's the offer that you put on the table. It's what you're going to do for people that they want. That's just one component of your message. Once they're excited about what you offer, they're going to want to know that you're qualified to do the job. In other words, tell them just enough about your biography so they know that you're not some sort of clown that's running to get attention somehow. Tell them what's in your moral code, that stuff in your heart. You weren't born with one, so your moral code is a product of your journey. What kind of people do you care most about? What kind of causes are important to you? What kind of things have you done in your community to lift those who needed a hand up? What convictions do you hold inside of yourself where you say, this is good, this is evil, this is fair, this is unfair, this is right, this is wrong? That's a moral code, and we all have one. Voters need to know a little bit about yours. A couple of other things that kind of round out your campaign message is, did you ever have an experience? Did you ever see something? Did you ever hear something that made you passionate about fixing a problem that's relevant to the voters in your jurisdiction? If so, tell them that story. You know what they'll conclude? If you tell it well, they're going to conclude that they can trust you to do the right thing even when they're not looking. And once you've convinced them of that, you will get their vote. Now there's a fifth component of this what you say campaign message business, and that is at some point in the campaign, usually toward the end, you want to summarize your case to the voters, and you want to summarize it this way: why they should vote for you and why they should not vote for your opponent. Why you, not them. Make that comparison and that contrast crystal clear, unmistakable, as clear as black and white. They won't hate you for doing that. They'll appreciate it that you made the decision easy for them. Which brings us to topic number 2. Who are you going to say this stuff to? There's certain people in your community probably not going to vote for you because you're the wrong race, or you're the wrong party, or you're the wrong ethnic group, or they just don't have much in common with someone with your background. In our polarized age, it really doesn't make a lot of sense for you to waste a lot of time, energy, and money to talk to people who are not going to vote for you, so don't target them. Let's talk about the people you do target. There are people who can be persuaded to vote for you when they hear why you and not them. And then there are the people who are going to vote for you if you just make the effort to get them to the polls. So lots of ways to dig into those two groups and how you define them. You can look at where they live. Voters in urban areas are a little different than voters in suburban areas. They are a little different than voters in rural areas. You can look at past voting patterns in sections of your district to get an idea of the way they behaved in the past, which is usually predictive of the way they will behave in the future. You can look at it demographically. Are you naturally appealing to younger voters as opposed to older voters? Well, that might come into your calculations of who you target your message to. What about those who graduated high school versus those who voted for college? Those who are lower on the income ladder and those who are higher? Those with excellent credit scores, those with mediocre credit scores, those who work in working class populations as opposed to those who work in managerial occupations. All of this data is available to you if you know where to find it, and if you don't, why, leave a comment in the comment section. I'll tell you where you can find it. Now let's talk about how you disseminate this message. Method 1 has been around since the beginning of time. Even Julius Caesar used this to acquire power in Rome. He gave speeches, and people listened to the words rolling off his lips. He must have been a pretty good speaker because he got to be king of the mountain for a little while until they killed him. Speech making is as old as humankind. If you can master what it is that you say, master your delivery and the words that roll off your lips, this is what will happen each and every time you speak. You touch people's hearts. You become magnetic to them. You energize them. You give them hope. And you know, when you do that, they will stand in line to volunteer. They will stand in line to contribute to your campaign. So use that skill of public speaking to advance your cause. Now, there are other times when words come out of your mouth. It's a way to deliver your message. You're going to talk if you have a debate with the other candidates. You can hold press conferences where you're saying things to reporters. You can hold a public event where you're getting endorsements from some high-powered people in your community, and you're going to say a few words at that event. All the time in a political campaign, your mouth is running every day, each day, one time or another. Make the most of the words that come out of your mouth. The second way to do this, in addition to what you say, is what we call your ground operation. You can unleash a bevy of volunteers once you have the volunteers to go into communities to pass out literature. You can have young people stand at a shopping mall on a Saturday handing out your palm cards. You can send people to a town hall meeting and pass out your literature either before the meeting or after the meeting as people are living. This is what we call a ground operation kind of campaign. Now here's one of the most effective ones. You send people out to go door to door. You have them engage people at the door. If they have a friendly conversation, if your volunteer is convinced that person to vote for you, ask that homeowner for permission to put a yard sign in their yard. As your yard signs begin to go up in certain neighborhoods, other people in that neighborhood are going to notice them. Other people in that neighborhood, it dawns on them that there must be a campaign coming. Other people in that neighborhood are going to drift over to their neighbor's house to say, why you got that yard sign up there? What is it about this guy that you like? That is how you organically grow votes using a basic ground operation. I also have to talk about the magic of social media here. It is magic. It is the most powerful tool at our time. And I'll tell you this, if you're pushing a cause, if you're determined to fix a problem, if you're running for office to improve the quality of life in your jurisdiction, go talk about what you're doing on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. Post every day about what you're doing. Post pictures of yourself on the campaign trail. Post pictures of yourself interacting with people in that community, be they people on the street corner, people in small business districts, the guy at the hardware store, the woman at the bakery who's waiting on people. Let people know that you're out there in the community and that you're working at it, and that these are the things that you stand for. All of these are critical components of how you disseminate a campaign message. What I just told you about the first three, they're enormously powerful. There's another one that is equally powerful. You need money to do this, but there is something called paid advertising in politics. We've all seen ads on TV. We've all received pieces of mail from candidates advertising their campaign, what they're fighting for, what they want to do. We've all heard a political radio ad. Now, if you got the resources to take advantage of those, it's like adding a big megaphone to your mouth. So instead of 400 people hearing what you have to say, you can punch a button and thousands of people will hear what you have to say. That's the advantage of having money to spend in a political campaign. It is a video for another topic or another day. But there are ways to do this with paid advertising where lots of people are hearing your message several times a day. And it is very powerful. Now, I got a gift for you, and it's a free video, and this is why you should watch it. The title of it is A Good Campaign Message Will Win an Election. You heard me talk a little bit about that in this video. It is the most important component of your campaign. I encourage you to go do a deep dive into that subject. Go click on that video now and watch it while this stuff is fresh in your mind. It is gold.